evening, everyone. Welcome to the Living Legacy Foundation of Maryland's Real Talk. This is our third segment for the year, and I'm happy to announce that we're going to talk about social responsibility and community giving. I have the honor of welcoming our moderator, John Stanfield. He's a senior firefighter, emergency medical technician, and a Donate Life ambassador for the Living Legacy Foundation. John Stanfield is a volunteer for Living Legacy. Also serves as a senior firefighter in EMT at the Bel Air Volunteer Fire Department and volunteers at several organizations, such as Knights of Columbus, Special Olympics, Ed Block Courage Awards, Miracle Fields, and St. Baldrick's. He works full-time for Verizon as a technician and an instructor and works for the Baltimore Ravens as a communication technician. Go Ravens! John currently teaches CPR and first aid and has been told that his teachings have helped save lives. And I want to say happy birthday to John. Today's his birthday.
Happy birthday, John.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'd also like to welcome everyone. I hope that you enjoy our discussion this evening. Let me first introduce our panelists this evening. So our panelists are Charlie Alexander, Amelia Clifton, and Allison Coleman. And so let me give you a little background about each one of these folks. It's quite impressive. Charlie Alexander began his career at the Living Legacy Foundation as an operating room perfusionist, rising through the ranks until he was recruited to become the president and chief executive officer of the organization in April of 2004. He has chaired and been a member of numerous national organizations, boards, and committees, such as the Association of Organ Procurement Organizations and Donate Life America of Maryland. His prior clinical experiences include working as a registered nurse in the medical intensive care unit at the Johns Hopkins Hospital and in the trauma resuscitation unit at the University of Maryland Medical Center. Charlie has earned a Bachelor's of Science from the School of Marketing and Economics at Towson University, a Bachelor's of Science in Nursing from Village Ole College, and a Master's of Nursing and a Master's of Business Administration from the Johns Hopkins University. Quite impressive, Charlie. Our next panelist is Amelia Clifton, and Amelia is the Quality Systems Coordinator at the Living Legacy Foundation, as well as the chair of our Social Responsibility Committee. She began her journey at the Living Legacy Foundation as a human resource intern while she was in school in Elizabethtown College. Amelia has always wanted to help others when searching for an internship, and the Living Legacy Foundation was the obvious choice for that. Amelia believes the most impactful part of working at the Living Legacy Foundation is being able to be part of the process that brings hope to families that are going through so much. Being a part of the Social Responsibility Committee allows her to give back to our community through the Living Legacy Foundation, and giving back to the community has been a massive part of Amelia's life ever since high school when she began baking to raise money for charitable organizations. She looks forward to continuing her efforts in helping the community through organ, tissue, and eye donation. And then we have Allison Coleman. Allison is the Public Relations and Media Coordinator at the Living Legacy Foundation of Maryland. Allison has over 10 years of experience in public relations, communications, and social media. She joined the Living Legacy Foundation in 2015 and works to support organ, eye, and tissue donation through news coverage, social media, educational and promotional materials, special events, and awareness campaigns. Allison is passionate about remembering the donor in donation and works closely with the donor families and recipients to share her stories. Allison served as the chair of the Living Legacy Foundation Social Responsibility Committee from 2017 until this past summer. She also serves on the board for the Chris Atwood Foundation. So quite a background for all three of you, and I welcome you all and look forward to our discussion tonight. And so I want to start off by asking Charlie a question, and that is, Charlie, what does social responsibility mean to you?
Thanks, John. Social responsibility is our opportunity to kind of get outside the four walls of our mission. I think every person that works with us is able to say that they change and save lives every single day. And our work has a very obvious connection to that life-saving mission. But social responsibility is, I only work, 40, 50, whatever, 60 hours a week, whatever it happens to be that week. What am I doing with myself to give back to the community, that we serve, beyond the work we do at Living Legacy. So being socially responsible is being educated, being aware of the plight that we have in Baltimore City and the surrounding areas, pockets of poverty in the rural areas of our service area as well, and what can we do and our staff do to help make a difference in those areas. So we're a woman-run organization. It's funny that I'm the CEO, but we have so many women in places of high positions here at Living Legacy, and so many young women look up to these ladies with so much admiration and so much like, they can do it, I can do it. And I love the feeling that we can impart through mentorship and just community volunteerism.
Wow. And I can relate to that. So my next question is to Allison. Allison, how did the Social Responsibility Committee get to be started at the Living Legacy Foundation?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked that. Aisha, who introduced you this evening, she actually was the founder of the Social Responsibility Committee. It was started in early 2016 when she really just recognized that there was a need, not only a need, but an obligation for our organization to support the community in additional ways outside of our mission of saving and enhancing lives through donation and transplantation. We are now a small committee of staff members from a variety of different departments at our organization, and our mission is just to identify as best we can the needs of the community and make sure that we have service opportunities for our staff to serve the community as best we can.
Very good. It sounds like there was a lot of forward thinking there, because you guys started so much earlier than when it really hit the world.
Yeah, Aisha's definitely a forward thinker.
Yeah. So my next question is to Amelia, and that is, why did you join the Social Responsibility Committee?
Well, helping others, like you said in the intro, has always been incredibly important to me, which is why I chose LLF in the first place after school. But when you come to LLF, there's this whole new employee orientation. And they say, first we want to start you in your first 6 months of training. And then after that, once you kind of get settled, you can go forward and join any number of these committees, which we have tons of. And in describing the Social Responsibility Committee, I was like, oh my goodness, that speaks volumes to me. And the different projects that they worked on were just so impactful throughout the community. And so my boss luckily came to me and was like, it's okay, you don't have to wait 6 months. And I was like, yay! So luckily I was able to join sooner rather than later. And it's been great ever since.
Great. Thank you. So Charlie, who were some of our partners in the community, and what is our relationship with them?
Well, geez, John, if I answer that question, we might run over by 30 minutes or so. We partner up with a lot of people, and I'm going to kind of read from a list, which is not my thing. I'm not much of a reader when we're presenting, but I just didn't want to forget anybody, and I want to mention each of these groups. We work with Friendly Loving Opportunities, My Sister's Circle, which I think I kind of alluded to in my opening question. My Sister's Circle is a organization here in Baltimore that mentors young African-American women in Baltimore City who are in some tough situations but have the desire to push through academically and do well for themselves. And so we have women on our team that actually voluntarily mentor these young ladies. So that might sound like a great thing, like, oh, that's great, helping out a young girl. You start when they're in probably 5th grade, and they are your mentee until they go to college. This is a very substantial, commitment that our team members make to these young ladies. So I'm not going to be able to talk in such great detail about every one of these, but I think that's a perfect example of what we do outside of our mission to support the community. We're active with Casey Cares. Maryland Food Bank. Maryland Food Bank just sent out a please all hands on deck. We need volunteers to help get food to people who are really struggling during this COVID pandemic. They lost, I think it was 10 to 15% of their staff to COVID all at one time. And they set up a kind of an interesting arrangement where you could be 20 to 30 feet away from their teams, everybody in protective device, and allow us to help load trucks and get food to people in need. Just amazing to see, our staff respond to that request. We even had one team member, Tyree Nutter. She replied back to me and said, I've been doing this since I was 12 years old for the Maryland Food Bank when I was a young girl in Salisbury. So that's the kind of people that I think you see at Living Legacy, makes us proud. International Rescue Committee, Paul's Place, Men and Family Center, Empower 410, Food Not Bombs, Baltimore Animal Rescue and Care Shelter, Movable Feast, again, back to getting food to people, Jubilee Arts, the Northwest Faith-Based Partnership, excuse me, the Park Heights Saints, and Somebody Cares. This is just a few of the things we do. I know we've also been active with Sharp Dressed Men in the past. That was a great opportunity to give men who were coming off of homelessness and didn't have the proper, what they believe to be the proper attire for interviews, to go and make a great first impression, get that job, pull themselves up. So again, I don't want to monopolize too much time here, but we're very active in the community in many, many different ways. And each one of these organizations are equally important. I could provide details about a few, but I didn't want to take too much time.
And that's one of the things, as an ambassador of the Living Legacy Foundation, that was something that drew me to your organization as well. As you heard, I'm involved in many different things. And it was that giving that you guys have that drew me in even further than what I had already gotten in. And so, it is amazing. I've had the opportunity to see some of the work that you guys do and love every bit of it.
John, I know you're not going to sit here and tell your story, and I'm not going to take too much time doing so, but I just want people to know John got connected to us being the first responder on site to a devastating motor vehicle crash up here in Bel Air, where a young girl, 10 years old, actually on her 10th birthday, subsequently passed away as a result of that accident and became an organ donor. And her family member did countless years-long events with us, I think 15 years, events with and for us. And John was the most dedicated volunteer to that for 15 years. I just want to say thanks for that.
Oh, it is my absolute pleasure and honor. And thank you for mentioning that, Charlie. My next question is to Amelia, and that is, what are some of the ways that the Living Legacy Foundation gives back to the community?
As Charlie said, we have a long list, so I don't know that I could go over all of them. And obviously, with COVID and everything, it's certainly difficult to get out into the community and give, as we have been doing for so many years. But just a lot of our yearly drives that we take place, we all take a part in. We had just had one that passed for Thanksgiving. We call it Gifts of Gratitude. We work with providing Thanksgiving meals, baskets to donor families that choose to participate. So our staff gather food items, and then we have staff bring them and deliver them to those donor families so they're able to have a really nice Thanksgiving meal. It's just amazing. Send them notes, just thanking them for everything and hoping that they have good holidays. We have clothing drives for hospitals, things that they need, sometimes in different wings. For longer term patients, they need different items. We like to provide those as well. Food drives we have often. School supplies during the summertime, that's sometimes tough. We do lots of those. I think my favorite thing that we have is team building every once in a while. And it's an opportunity for everyone as a team to go and give back. One time when I was an HR intern, we actually went and rebuilt, kind of organized, amped it up a little bit. It was a runaway home in Baltimore City for young children who found themselves with no place to go. Like Charlie said, the amount of different projects we're involved in, every team is doing something. The SRC committee is doing something. Family services, that team does an extensive amount. We just really try to get involved any way that we possibly can.
And so one of the things you just reminded me of something. One of the most amazing things, and I believe this is through the Family Services, is once a year there's a remembrance ceremony.
Yes.
And I've had the opportunity to attend this, and I found it to be one of the most amazing ceremonies that I've ever gone to, because it remembers those who have passed and it remembers those who have received and the donor families. And it's just such a touching event. And that basically we want to make sure that we never forget.
Absolutely.
And that's what I just absolutely love that one. So
yeah, that's an incredibly moving ceremony. It's just beautiful.
Yep. Thank you. So Allison, I got a question for you. What is the past initiative that you are most proud of at the Living Legacy Foundation they've undertaken?
I honestly don't think I can pick just one. I feel like we've, Charlie and Amelia and I've kind of been going through this long list of things that we do, but it just kind of stresses how it isn't, at least for me anyway, it is impossible to pick just one thing that I'm proudest of or a favorite event. I think that the way I see it is kind of SRC really has two pathways, where one is really service-based, where we're volunteering our time, and others are more donation drives. And I think that combination really makes it possible for a lot of our staff to engage however they feel comfortable. And really, it's just, the volunteering opportunities are amazing. I think, the ones that really stick out in my mind, we made Easter baskets with Empower 410 one time, and that was just really, really fun and so wonderful to be able to, really interact with people and have a fun activity like that. The Kids Safe Zone in West Baltimore, working with those kiddos, we would do like an after school ice cream party for them. That was so much fun. I'm just really missing those opportunities, because obviously during the pandemic, we are all kind of struggling to have safe volunteer opportunities like that. And, on the other hand, I think also our donation drives just really always point out to me how truly generous our staff are, because I will never forget, we had a donation drive for the International Rescue Committee in Baltimore, and they have a resettlement shop. And so basically people who are coming into this country, often with little to nothing, can come into this shop for free and find household items, clothes, anything you need to kind of build your household. So we did a big donation drive for them, and it was just absolutely absurd how much was brought in by our staff. We had like multiple car trips to drop this off on multiple days. The room was taken over. It was just really incredible to see, how generous people were with that. And yeah, it's really difficult to pick just one thing, but I hope that kind of gives a couple of options.
And that's just a testament to the Living Legacy Foundation and the the group is just so giving. I've seen it in many, many instances myself. And that's what draws me into all the different events that we have as much as I can as well. So
yeah, I think giving is in our mission, and so the people that work with our organization are that's a core value for many of us, if not all.
Very good. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Amelia, I have a question for you, and that is, what are some of the things that you would like to see the Living Legacy Foundation do in the future to give back to the community?
Just to start, as we all know and have repeated, the amount of different programs that we're involved in, we really cover a lot of bases. So we've done so much for the community. I know we're going to do so much more. So just to start there. But I think it would be really interesting to see, because I'm still so new to LLF. I've only been here a little over a year. So I think it'd be really amazing to get involved with some after school programs, some youth programs, obviously with school not being in person in a lot of instances. I'm sure there are a lot of kids struggling, maybe need some extra tutoring help, need someone to chat with because they don't really get recess time anymore, or, play fun online games or something like that. So I think that would be really fun to work with some of the youth within our community.
And I also have that opportunity through the things that I do. And I'm missing that very much. I had the opportunity to mentor some high school students, some middle school students, to make sure that they're going into the right pathway. I wasn't the best kid growing up as far as schoolwork. I didn't always make good choices. And I've had the opportunity to make a difference in some kids' lives just by mentoring them a little bit. And I miss that. We're not able to do that right now. So
Absolutely.
but
Even in
yeah.
the best circumstances, it's difficult, with everything going on. I'm sure it's even more difficult. So, like Allison said, it definitely is hard on us because we love to give so much. It's just not particularly safe, but we do miss it, and the need is still very much there.
Yep. And this is one of our busiest times of the year, isn't it, for all the things that we do?
Absolutely.
Yes, it's been challenging. So my next question goes to Allison. Allison, how does the Social Responsibility Committee work in the community overlap with our community outreach initiatives?
So when the SRC first started, the initiatives overlapped pretty generally in that our community outreach team is really committed to supporting the community, but it was largely focused on providing education regarding healthcare and donation and transplantation. That was our field. That was what we were focusing on. And it's been really interesting. I've been at the LLF it'll be 6 years in January. And it's been so interesting to see how the SRC's just presence at the LLF has even changed how our community outreach team operates. And I think also, having Aisha as our manager has made a big impact in that as well. But, we've really kind of changed where now their initiatives overlap a lot because now our community outreach work is not just focused on providing healthcare education, but also just really supporting the community. And I think also through our Decision Project campaign, that is very much a primary goal of that campaign. And so that, the overlap is strong. And I really, really, really have to give so much kudos to Aisha Johnson, who I mentioned, our community outreach manager, and especially Latrice Price. I know she's watching because I saw her in the comments, but Latrice is our community outreach coordinator, and she has just been absolutely working her butt off during this pandemic and just been so active in the community and volunteering so much of her time. And, she's been organizing food giveaways, providing care packages for people experiencing homelessness through Friendly Loving Opportunities, who Charlie mentioned. And, she's doing that as part of our community outreach work. So really the two very much just go hand in hand now.
And that's kind of the blend that I saw as I came into the organization as well. And everyone works so well together. It's just absolutely amazing. So my next question, I'm going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to open this up as a question to the whole panel. More and more Americans are viewing engagement in civic life, such as donation to nonprofits, volunteering, voting, etc., as more important than ever, especially during and hopefully after this pandemic. So what do you believe the Living Legacy Foundation's responsibility is as it pertains to the broader idea of social responsibility and giving back to the community?
Sorry, go ahead, Charlie.
Well, go ahead, Allison. That's all you, Allison. We'll go in alphabetical order.
I think we have a great responsibility. I think, when we talk with individuals and families about donation, we are asking them for an incredible gift, and donation is a selfless thing to do. And we have to acknowledge that we have a responsibility to mirror the generosity that the community offers to us back to the community. I think that, we have a responsibility to support them in their moment of need, not just our moment of need.
Yeah, I would just tag on to that, Allison. We've been absolutely blessed as an organization. We have 170 people who have been able to work, albeit in much different ways, throughout this pandemic. And everyone wants to give back. We're all doing what it takes to make the wheels turn at Living Legacy and try to save and enhance lives and support donor families. None of that stopped. Everything's different, but nothing stopped. And I think there's a level of gratitude, personal gratitude, that sort of permeates our team, that they just feel like, wow, we're hearing what people are dealing with. The restaurant folks who can't work and do things, at the same levels because of limited capacity or no capacity. Other people whose jobs just couldn't happen throughout the pandemic. I think so many of us have looked around and said, wow, we have a gift here. And LLF only attracts people who don't take that gift and run with it. They take that gift and give it back. So it's just been, it's just been that kind of feeling with the organization for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And so another question for any of the above here. Many people, especially young people, are looking at companies and employers to take on roles of social responsibility in society, both in their employment and operation practices. So how does the Living Legacy Foundation as an organization foster that type of engagement?
I'm not a young person, so I'm gonna have to defer to Amelia and Allison.
I will say this is absolutely huge for me. I graduated with a business degree, and I knew that I needed to go to a place that took social responsibility seriously. And also that I could go to work every single day and be proud of the work that we were doing. We're not pushing papers. We are making a difference in so many people's lives. We are making a difference in so many different areas of the community, and it is just absolutely incredible. I think it's pertinent to help others, and that's what LLF is all about. Like Allison said, it's in our mission. We're givers, and like Charlie said, that's who we attract. We attract people who want to give and not just work for LLF and come in and do their thing and then go home. We attract people that would do anything that we could to help others. So I think through our day-to-day involvement, it's because of every single person that works at LLF that we're able to operate in the way that we do.
And to lead off of that, is there any advice for people who are looking to become more involved?
I think one of the best ways to start if you want to become involved is just really explore what social responsibility means to you. I think it means something different to each of us. And, ask yourself what you're passionate about, because that's, I think, always going to be a great place to start, and just really examine, is it time that I can give? Is it money that I can give? Is it, moral support that I can give? Just kind of examine, reflect on what you can do and what you would love to do and what you support.
Absolutely. Just to tag off of that, I think so many young people with so many different things that need attention kind of struggle to actually dig in and get involved in something. And like Allison said, it's just so important to find that thing that you're passionate about and do whatever you can. People make things. They can knit or donate pieces of art that they make or write a short story for that, organization's front page journal, different things that you can do. It doesn't have to be money. I remember a little girl at one of my bake sales had a penny she came up with and asked if she could please donate this penny. And I was like, absolutely. She was so excited. And that has always been incredibly impactful, because it's not about the amount that you can give. It's about the thoughtfulness behind that gift. So really just dig in and find something that you're excited about.
Yeah, I just want to jump on that really quick, because I love that like, it's really just, no amount is too little. Anything, no amount of time, no amount of money, no amount of anything is too little. If just, and I think especially this time of year, we really think about, we see a lot of big donations happening for kind of the big nonprofit organizations that are national that we know about. They kind of get a lot of press, but I would really encourage everybody to not only look at those, but also look at the really like hyper local organizations in your own neighborhood, because often, they are doing really, really, really amazing work that is very impactful in the community, and are not as popular for donations sometimes, but your dollar can even go a lot further with them, because they're not operating with $1 million, multi-million-dollar budgets often. They're operating with much smaller budgets. So again, no amount is too little, and just really think about those local organizations as well.
And Allison, I'm glad you said that, because as an ambassador, I've been doing this for several years now. I've never felt pressured in any way to do anything through the Living Legacy Foundation. And I've been in other volunteer organizations where you feel like you're pushed. you want to do it. You want to be able to jump in and help out. And, any opportunity that I can, I love to come in and help out. I love to tell my story whenever I can, because it has so much meaning to your mission and to everything you do. And so, sitting from the outside looking in, the Living Legacy Foundation is just an absolutely incredible organization. One of the things that always catches me that I'm impressed is if you look in the surveys or the studies, the Living Legacy Foundation is always rated as one of the top employer opportunities in the region. And I find that quite impressive as well. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thanks, John. I mean, I think Amelia said it really well. We attract the kind of people that want to do great things. So, as a leadership team, I think we try to take the approach to just get out of people's way and let them do the great things. And I think people appreciate that, the autonomy, knowing that you can contribute to the direction of an organization, I think is what leads the surveys and the awards. I mean, that's all nice to hear when you see, you're a top workplace, but really living it every single day and just feeling the gratitude of our staff is much more meaningful to me.
Great. Does anyone else have anything to say as we wrap up this evening? Allison or Amelia?
Yeah, John, thanks for moderating. You did a fantastic
Thank you so much.
It's absolutely my pleasure. And I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. I want to thank the audience for joining us and look forward to doing some additional Real Talks. Our next Real Talk will take place on Thursday, January the 21st at 7 p.m., where we'll be discussing organ donation myths and misconceptions. And boy, what a topic that is. Being from the fire department, there are so many myths and misconceptions out there that I didn't know about, that I've learned through the Living Legacy Foundation. And so thank you all.
Thanks.
Are there any questions from our panel or from our audience, I should say? So one of the questions that came up, are employees given time off to give back to the local community?
Yes. Yep. When I heard that coming from, out of college to my first, a real out of school job, I was floored that we got time off, and they were like, yeah, go help out. I had never heard of an organization doing that. And I was absolutely amazed. So, and people use it. It's not, wasted time either. So I think that that's really incredible.
That's great. Any other questions? Well, that being said, I want to thank you all once again for this incredible forum, and look forward to doing some more in the future.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you so much.